Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great weekend. It was nice to have some nice weather yesterday. I was able to get outside and be in the yard a little bit, take the dog for a walk, so that was nice. We'll take that this time of year, as sometimes you never know what to expect in New England, but hopefully you were able to do that as well. Hopefully you and your family are enjoying some time together. I did want to start off by thanking our parents for their help this Wednesday. I know we had some extra traffic out there for parent drop-off in the morning on Wednesday. And again, I want to thank you for your patience and flexibility with that. We had over 100 students who are participating in Ski Club, and they did a nice job getting out and moving all their equipment into the building by themselves. So again, wanted to thank our parents for that. It makes for a much safer process when parents aren't parking and helping their children walk across the parking lot. So I know it took a little bit extra time, but certainly anticipate that next week will be much smoother as we'll be carrying on with that Wednesdays through the winter. So again, thank you to our parents for that. I wanted to congratulate our students and staff for another great week. We just finished our 20th week of the school year. It's really hard to believe that we're that far into the year. I know we talked a lot last week about goal setting, and I still think it's important to be talking to your child about that and setting a good example for them. With positive thinking and helping them persevere. We talk a lot about that here during the day at Sherwood. But as far as our academic calendar goes, we are just about in the middle of trimester 2. So the end of of cycle 3 comes up January 23rd. So we're just about halfway through the second trimester. So that's amazing to think that. As far as themes this week, we had a couple of themes. I really worked off of that theme from last week about believing in yourself. So this was a quote I shared out this week on social media. And just so you know, I'm also sharing these messages with our students and staff internally. So if you're following us on social media, you might see some of these posts. I'm also building off of that. It's really important that I feel like our students, staff, and parents are hearing that same message. And this is certainly a familiar author, Dr. Seuss. But it's really important to remember that we talk to our students all the time about really believing in themselves. This is that critical time in their lives where they're in the middle stages in between elementary and the middle school at Oak, and they're trying to really find themselves. And every time I talk to students, I talk to them about being positive and really being confident in who they are. And so that was a theme that we talked about this week. Another one was never being afraid to dream. I think it's important for us as adults. Sometimes we get stuck in our ways, but to remember that no matter how old we are, we can still set goals, we can still dream, and that our children are watching us. And I think it's important to have that growth mindset and be modeling that behavior for them. And then the last theme that I shared this week was just how do we continue to be happy? This is part of our Action for Happiness campaign. This is a great resource. I included it in my newsletter this week. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at this, there's just some really good examples of some things you can do in your life each and every day. Really some simple things, but if you practice them, it can make a difference in your life and in your family's life. So I would encourage you to do that. Looking ahead, I wanted to remind our students and parents that we have our winter concert coming up the end of January. And that also you want to be looking for some announcements about Unified Basketball. I know I mentioned that last week in my update, but be looking for some information on that. And as I said throughout the year, if you don't follow us on Facebook and Twitter, I would really encourage you to do that. It's a great way for you to see all the wonderful things that we're doing here at Sherwood on a daily basis, whether it's the learning in the classroom that's happening, whether it's some of the positive messaging and themes that we're doing. But I can say I know as a parent myself, sometimes it's hard to really know what's going on during the day. I ask my children that, and sometimes I don't get a great answer. So when you can see those pictures and you can see those snapshots, it's always great to see some of the things that we're doing here on a daily basis. And I again want to thank our staff for building those relationships with our students, because that's so important to their growth academically and social emotionally. So with that, I want to wish everybody a great rest of the weekend and look forward to seeing you all soon.